So Sarek pauses for a second, and he goes again. The most chaotic thing in the entire multiverse is love. And the worst thing that your supervisor could do is to introduce a forbidden fruit in a prison. And while you're in this prison, the great king fell in love with a visitor. So,
well, it's a bad thing to get in love in a prison, sir. Man, that's not a good place to fall in love, bud.
Yeah. And the worst thing that Sarah, or that the great king could have done, though, was who he fell in love with. He fell in love with Bahamut's sister.
Woo! How'd that go for him?
Poorly, considering it broke many of the great king's ideals. You know, his truthfulness and his pompousness and everything he stood for and did it. You know what's worse? That he secretly grew his power.
Kind of like you did, sir?
Well, I did it sort of bombastically. So,
that's a good word.
So, he did it subtly, implanting a name that grew across an entire nation.
Sun King.
So, a name that no one knew that it was him. So everyone just called him the Great King, the Warden, the Warden of Thetadolyon. But he used his true name to enthrall a kingdom. This kingdom prayed to him, grew him up, lifted him up, and gave him power.
And was you jealous, Sarek? Was you jealous?
No.
You wasn't?
Because who do you think spread his name for him?
You must have believed in him.
I believe that there are opportunities, and when chaos comes in, I am there. It's like,
right, you are.
It's like my name was forgotten and lost. And this particular person, he keeps his promises. So again, he helped me. He said he would help me if I helped him. So I spread his name across the land. I spread his teachings. They hung his banners and his symbols up. And he grew with power. More and more power. He was able to bring in power from across the multiverse, which should have not been able to do, thanks to his love of Bahamut's sister. Thanks to them doing what they were supposed to, he was able to gain power across the multiverse. And subtly, working together, I let it slip that the Great King was not so great with Bahamut's sister.
Oh, Sarek, you didn't.
I did.
Oh, wow, buddy.
So, but you got to understand.
I'm not trying to understand.
I didn't come up with the plan. I just helped.
Oh.
It was the Great King that wished to do this. The Great King used me, and I used him. We were able to let Bahamut know, thanks to another kingdom that prayed to them. I think you know that kingdom. It's called Hubshan. And they let him know, and Bahamut came and confronted the Great King and tried to banish him down, thinking that he was just who he was while he was there. But he didn't realize that the Great King had become a greater deity again, even higher than Bahamut. And he struck Bahamut down and almost slay him and depowered him to where Bahamut was then trapped in Thetadolyon. I believe that you've run into him and done other things. and it lost things across. And Muhammad himself had to gain power, but still, no one knew. No one knew that the great king and this other great deity were one and the same, except Muhammad. But Muhammad was stricken and cursed that he could not say the name thanks to the God's rules. And the rules of Thetadolyon could not be broken. So Muhammad lay in anguish through many, many resets of Thetadolyon, 19 to be exact. And every time the great king kept coming back and breaking, until finally, I'll use a term, the stars and cards aligned, and the right people, namely you and your friends, were able to build up the great king even more without even realizing it, battling the darkness and also lifting up another particular god, a god that you've heard many times, including several of you all, I believe, follow this god. Do you happen to know the name Tyr?
It's come up.
So, have you ever heard Tyr's ramblings about balance?
Sure. You hate balance, though, don't you, Sarah?
I don't hate it when it's law and chaos.
No, you hate balance, Sarah.
Well, it's awful funny that I worked with it so well.
Well, why didn't you just continue working with it if you was doing so well with it?
And you hear another voice. Roll history on the voice.
Gosh, what's my history?
Just him or
You can roll it. You can do it too.
Yeah,
Melanie
because you
can
hear
hear
it
it
too, I guess.
Yeah, you both hear it.
17.
So what's Melanie's history roll?